Before we begin, thank you very much to Joseph S. for rejoining the Patreon campaign over at patreon.com/TJOmega. Don't worry, Season 3 Beast Wars is still happening. I have not given up on that. It will be coming. I've had a lot to do leading up to the vacation and getting back on track after the vacation. Turns out it's not easy leaving town for a week and a half. So, yeah, I'm just about caught up. There's some things coming up here that has really kind of derailed things scheduling wise, but once it's all cleared out, the last season will be done, and then hopefully we will be set to begin the Beast Machines once the Patreon gets high enough. So if you want to see that, please consider pitching in just a little bit. So it's a happy day here. My boy is finally getting recognition. After 55 previous attempts, not including all the repaints and specialty editions released here and thereof, Trailbreaker finally has a masterpiece figure on the way. This is a happy day for me. So, I don't know why Trailbreaker was one that just stuck to me when I was a kid. In the original cartoon, he was just, like, for some reason, really cool to me. The force field powers I thought were really neat. And yeah, to me, he was just like better Ironhide. If that makes any kind of sense whatsoever. But no, I spent a long time getting absolutely nothing Trailbreaker wise because, well, apparently every time they tried to do Trailbreaker for a long time, trademark problems got in the way. That's why he eventually became Trail Cutter. And, well, that's apparently out of the way now. The last release was actually Trailbreaker. This release is Trailbreaker, and it's a very happy thing to see. So let's go in depth here. We will give an examination to what we are actually getting from Takara Tomy. So let's see. Okay, so traditional barrel, chromed. Does look like it can flip away, or at least compact somewhat to fit the other accessories we're going to see. That's good. Posability looks pretty good. Looks like it's got a butterfly joint to get that arm over the chest a little bit. He's got both the shoulder gun and the force field emitter. Good to see. Oh, of course. This was a nice surprise. So this was from More Than Meets the Eye Part 2. Is a handheld version of his force field projector. The triple barrel one you see in that screenshot. Cool that they threw that in. This is where, like, Masterpiece is... I think this is one reason why Masterpiece toys have gotten so expensive, because they've been doing so much in the accessory department. Trying to get everything in that could possibly get in. They're really trying to make, like, every version of a figure now the definitive version in Masterpiece. Whatever accessory we've never thrown in, or whatever accessory we can think of, is now part of the package. You pay more for it, but hey, you don't have to rebuy the toy later on. Okay, we have the effect part that works in the hand and the shoulder gun. Cool. Left fist. It's kind of bizarre when you actually have to describe, like, as like a special accessory, a left hand. Trailbreaker in the cartoon is almost never seen without his gun hand on the left, shockwave style in that way. But if you want toy accuracy, or if you want the occasional time you could see a left hand on him, here you go. And extra faces are good as well. He can smile, he can scream, which is a really weird looking face I will probably never be using. Like I said. Looking good though, looking good. Proportions are alright. At first I kind of thought the legs may be a little bit small, which is probably because in these shots the backpack makes him look so big. But also, I've taken a look at some screenshots. It's actually not too far off. He's got a bit of a paunch, which I guess there's no avoiding, because at some point he's got to be hoist. But it works. Again, and yeah, there you have those like crossover joints in the pectorals that are putting in some work. Really good to see. Looks extremely articulated, which, you know, that's a must for Masterpiece now. Vehicle mode looking really, really good. I like how solid the truck looks. That's what came across to me. You can see some panel lines in that canopy, but in the camper bed here. But when you look at the truck itself, there's really not a whole lot of division. Maybe a little bit around the rear tire here, but he looks really solid, like to the point where you might be hard pressed to even spot the Transformer in him. That's actually a really impressive job. More posing shots. Performing at a symphony. I don't know what this pose is. I assume it's based off of a shot from... I presume it's based on a shot from the cartoon. The only one that comes to mind would be Divide and Conquer, where this particular group was on Cybertron trying to get Optimus Prime's what was it? Cosmotron. That was the piece they needed. So that's what this looks like. They were never in this pose, but Trailbreaker was the one to save the day in that episode. So yeah, we owe everything to Trailbreaker. Saved Optimus Prime and all that. This is the really cool stuff. I guess because you didn't really have an option, like because like that torso, that front end of the vehicle, doesn't really do anything transformation-wise outside of maybe store the arms, though it looks like that's more accurately like here in the cab section. They took up the space by actually giving us a hood that opens up. That's actually pretty rare even in Masterpiece these days. I think we got that with Skids. I haven't popped Reboot's hood open lately to remember, but I think that's a thing. Doors opening too. Nice detailed engine interior. Very, very cool. This was also really surprising. It's actually scaled to fit the little spike or spark plug that came in one of the Masterpiece Optimus releases. That's really cool. That's really cool. So there's a weird semblance of scale going on here. Imagine that. This was also neat too. We have a parabolic antenna that he used in the old show. I believe that was also a More Than Meets the Eye Part 2 appearance. We have a special grill, which actually looks cartoon accurate. I haven't seen a robot mode shots that has this version of the grill, but I assume you can transform it without switching them out. And then a decoration seal. In the cartoon, if you want extreme cartoon accuracy in the vehicle mode, you can sticker over the side of his windshield, so you can actually be even more accurate, which is weird. That little sliver, that's your window. Just that little blue wedge. But it's a neat little detail. The optional stuff, I think, is a nice little compromise to the fans who want cartoon accuracy and the ones who want something more leaning toward the toy. I could still use a little bit more tech dribble in the robot modes to be more interesting, but I understand what they're going for with Masterpiece these days. Yeah, and there's the shot with the radar dish. So yeah, it's actually it's a really cool attempt to recreate it all. Like, really impressive job by Takara. Looking really, really good. So, Cybertron Strategist Trailbreaker. Yeah, you can see, like, even in the original model, like that chrome hung over his belly a little, his midsection a little bit. So that's not a bad compromise. There's other shots as well. All of these, you can see the accessory loadout here. He does come with quite a lot. Really happy to see they're throwing in so much for him, even though they is going to raise the price. Speaking of, the price point on this is 21,780 yen, which at this moment breaks down to $167.39. So I was kind of hopeful when Masterpiece Skids came out and it wasn't triple digits, and it actually turned out to be a pretty good figure. I actually had some hope that Masterpiece was kind of calming down and kind of getting back to, like, not being, like, super crazy expensive. We're back to that. I mean, we're long past Ironhide at this point, which is kind of where, like, cartoon accuracy tries to begin. But, like, I can remember, like, he was $90 back when Ironhide came out. That's years ago at this point. And now we have Trailbreaker almost twice as expensive. You can see he's comparable in size to Ironhide, so he's got that going for him. But I don't know, it's the complexity is where we're kind of off here. So you can see he does fold up in an interesting way. You know, like, you can see what component becomes his waist, but here's windshields. Like, this looks like the side of the car, the side of the truck. This is... he's doing a lot of folding and wrapping around in order to make this chunk happen. He does still end up with a pretty big backpack, but it's not bad considering it's just the camper. That's actually not the worst situation. Not the worst situation. I am really impressed by the engineering job. He does look like he's going to do a fair bit of complex transforming. He does look like he comes with quite a bit. You can see other parts to show where, like, a lot of that modern Masterpiece engineering is. I'm specifically looking at these hinges in the sides of the legs at that diagonal angle. He's definitely got some kind of inside-out paneling going on in order to make this work. It's a pretty impressive job. It's a pretty impressive job, and he's going to be doing a lot. I'm hesitant on anything Masterpiece these days. Like I said, I was surprised when Skids came out affordably and really well made, because Masterpiece has not had a great reputation as of late. They either go way over the top with things like Prime version 3 and the Seekers, or they come up really just quality control nightmares like Hound. I even heard problems with Lio Convoy. Someone told me that even the Seekers were starting to have issues, though that I've not seen like actual documentation of. So hearsay. I'm not going to put too much stock in that just yet. I'm hoping for the best. I'm really hoping that this is closer to Skids and farther away from Hound. I'm hoping that this is the sweet spot, you know, and this is actually going to be a really, really solid figure, because I want Trailbreaker to have a really good toy for once. I'm starting to be concerned about Masterpiece in general. It was pointed out to me that Masterpiece Convoy, the MP01 Convoy, I should say, was almost 20 years ago. We've had Masterpiece a long time now, and we're just now getting Trailbreaker, which is, it's weird when you think of it that way. He's in the 84 cast. It's not like, you know, he wasn't a major character. I don't remember an episode specifically given to him, but he wasn't like short on appearances either. He was in episode 1. He's in the original More Than Meets the Eye. And then when you start looking at the roster of the Transformers, you start wondering, like, we got a lot. Let me put that up. That's better. We got a lot of characters outside the original cast before we got the original cast finished. We're still looking at, there's no Masterpiece Reflector yet. There is no Masterpiece Brawn or Gears or Huffer. We just now saw a semblance of a Cliff Jumper coming out, though that has not been officially announced. Imagine that. That one leaked. We've got like full production shots of that Cliff Jumper. We still don't have, and that all came out before we got a hint that Trailbreaker was next. And so now we have this official reveal and release date, and we're still wondering where Cliff Jumper is. And when you start to think about that, like, how do you even do Huffer and, Gears? They're trucks, but they're tiny. It's a conundrum, isn't it? It's a conundrum. They aren't little compact cars like Cliff Jumper and Bumblebee, so it's a little harder to get away with. And it's weird to leave gaps, It's weird for Masterpiece it's weird to think that the Masterpiece has been around this long and there's still gaps, even in, like, the characters who appeared in the very first episode. Also, I'd be totally down for Masterpiece Reflector. I don't know, Takara told me they could actually work an actual camera into it at this point. Oh well. That's to be seen. But for now, yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts, because a lot of people pointed this out to me. A lot of people know how much I like Trailbreaker. So yes, I'm quite thrilled with this development. This saves me from buying a third party, which I know they're good third-party Trailbreakers. I'd rather support the official brand. I'd like to do some kind of review for the official version of the character. So, yeah, we'll see how this one turns out. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for enduring a whole lot of vacation videos, by the way. I know it's not the most exciting or thrilling thing. We're going to get back to Transformer topics, so don't worry. It's all back on track from here. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.